So here's what we know about your top performers. They're the ones that quit when you're struggling in your leadership. The poorest performers in your organization, they're stuck to your business like barnacles on the bottom of a boat, right? Like they're not going anywhere. They're ducking, they're hiding, and they're collecting paychecks. But your top performers, they walk. So how do you keep your top talent engaged? Well, one of the things you're going to want to do is think about their own personal development plans. That means understanding how they want to grow. They know often how they want to move forward, but they don't know if it's okay with you. And so having that conversation is critical. Another is creating leadership opportunities. Now, not every single high performer wants to step into leadership. I used to manage a very top performer named Bob who said, "The day you put me in charge of other people is the day I walk out the door." He'd already done that before in another large enterprise, and he was like, "I don't want to do that ever again." But you have to know what moves them. And for some people, stepping into a leadership role is exactly what they want next, and your job is to figure it out and create those opportunities. Now, you're not always going to be able to do that because sometimes the organization isn't big enough. But when you can, and if you can, that's what you want to do. And if you can't, then you want to start figuring out how you're going to help them move in their career somewhere else, even if it means outside of your team, so they can keep developing. The last way to do it is in creating special projects, right? This is all under the notion of giving them growth opportunities, but special projects are time-fixed, goal-specific efforts that they can run. They may have a team, it may be solo, but you're going to give them an opportunity for a steep climb, an opportunity to do something that is hard that maybe they wouldn't normally get a chance to do. They're going to love and be like, "Hey, at the end of this, I also get a gold star." Now, of course, I've highlighted some people are motivated by challenge. Some people are motivated by recognition. Some people are motivated by impact or influence or orchestrating others and pulling something bigger out of the org than what could happen individually. And your job is to figure out what motivates each one of them. And of course, you want to do this in an environment where there's constant feedback. You're giving people the opportunity to learn and grow in little ways. There's public acknowledgement, and you've created an environment where their own peers can recognize what they're doing. When you put that all together, you're creating an environment that allows high performers to say, "This is where I want to stay." Now, you can also very quickly erode all of that, right? When you hire top talent and then you start telling them exactly what to do and how to do it. That, faster than anything, is going to have your top talent, your high performers walking out the door. Because what's the point of being a high performer if you don't give them the degrees of freedom and the environment where they can run? I once went, just earlier this year, I took one of my highest performers on vacation with me because they're also a really good friend. And we were in Alaska, and we're literally in a spot where we're doing the sled with the dogs and they're racing. And my top performer and one of my closest friends, Jennifer Bourne, is manning the dogs to race. And I'm sitting in the chair. And we do this, for a mile or so. And then the guy who's in front of us stops and comes back and says, "Do you have any questions?" And I'm sure he's thinking the questions are all about like, how do I steer or what do I do? No, my friend and top performer, Jen Bourne, was like, "Are we ever going to let these dogs go full pace? Like, how do we speed this thing up?" And they're like, no, we keep the dogs running at 20 miles an hour. And I'm thinking 20 miles an hour, just sitting out in the snow and going on this. I mean, there was no seatbelts to this thing. There was no, airbags or anything. I'm like 20 miles an hour on a sled out in the snow. Seems like it's fast enough. But no, top performers want to run. They want to go as fast as they can. And so this whole let me hold them back thing was annoying, even on vacation, to a top performer. You don't want to create an environment where you're constantly creating that friction, that tension, that constraint for your top performers. And the other thing you don't want to do is give them, little tasks that are easy for them to handle. Now, I'm not saying everything should be hard. You definitely want some easy wins. But in general, top performers want to go after the big prizes, the big challenges, the cross-departmental requires more than one person to make something happen. Now, all that said, I wrote a full article about it, which you can read here, and you can see that link for it. But if you catch in there that every top performer is different, then I've made the case, right? I've told you, I've highlighted that as much as you want to do all this, you have to understand uniquely each one of your top performers. And that's why I recommend the Motivation Code, right? The M Code assessment at motivationcode.com, because it allows me to get a detailed blueprint for how each one of the members of my team is motivated and how to reward them, how to give them great feedback, how to give them the right size and kind of challenge that is uniquely perfect for them. So check it out at motivationcode.com.